So we got everybody here ready to roll. Practice day, again, we'll do a fair amount of some separate because you're in helmets only first 2 days, and 2 days of shoulder pads. Monday goes to a full pad of practice. Tuesday's the first 2 a day. We basically have these couple days in 2 weeks. We'll transition to a week of school and then game weeks. It kind of flows with a good preseason with on and off, plenty of time. Again, we got everybody here. You'll see in practice, and I'm not going to do anything today, and you can do whatever you want to because some of you guys will get going with all your verbiages, but we've got a couple minor deals with some guys will be limited. You might see a guy or two in another spot you're not used to. I would not judge right now on who by any means is first team and second team. I think as coaches, you know, you're evaling summer academics, what you bring off the field, on the field. Now you got practice performance, and that's going to be a part of it. So there might be some subtle changes. You guys know I'm not overly that anal on too deep, but I know you need too deep. You know, Ohio State made a big deal with their quarterback thing. You know, we made a commitment last year where we have 2 quarterbacks for a spring period and then another quarterback for preseason, so we got glitched. That hurt you. So, but you always have backups. Remember last year we win 2 nice games with D'Angelo Roberts. And you've got this All-American guy that set all the records, but your winning touchdowns in some critical games for our program was by backup. So we need a bunch of guys. It's our deepest team. So you can speculate, but, you know, we're expecting to play a lot of dudes. You might see some subtle changes, but it's nothing permanent now. It's competition. If you see some guys where the only issues we had health-wise was Jay Shun, who's out for the year, and Donovan Clark is still going to be very tender with his back that it could get him into where I don't know if we're going to have his services this year. Everyone else, if someone's got a minor thing, it's a pull or something coming out of preseason where it's not major. So if you see a guy not doing a lot today, we'll address that Saturday because I think after I see them a couple days, I want to know, okay, it's worse than I thought or it's not as bad as I thought. So we'll get there as we go. So,
yeah, Patrick.
You know, it's not final yet. So, and in our world, you know, he's here, he's going to be here, and what we do the first 2 weeks doesn't change the way we practice as far as the amount of reps, who gets what. As we get into that week prior to school starting, or the week of school starting, which is 2 weeks before the game, we get a little bit more game heavy right now. So there's just some things in process, and it's not official.
How do you see the safety position, given what happened with Antonio in terms of filling in? Who's going to handle that?
You know, we got right now, well, it'd be interesting. I know I've got my thoughts as what I think. I think Coach Joseph and Coach Shelby have theirs, and so we'll see how it plays out. But I'm going to say, again, Chase Dutra is probably going to be at free. He was playing strong last year. And that's kind of the guy that kind of coordinates a lot. And I got a sense his savviness, and he was probably, if not our best defender, one of the best couple the last part of the season. Had a good offseason. So Chase will be at free. Keontae and Tony Fields have played a lot. And then from there, it's you know, Andre Brown's playing corner, but big enough to be there. Right now we're starting Cooks, and we're starting Jonathan Crawford inside. Mario Swan, 215, was a scholarship kid at Eastern. He's an upper-level walker. I think he can get in the mix as 2 or 3 deep. So Ty Smith was honored yesterday as one of the best workout guys. So, you know, we're going to be 8 there. But I think you start out with guys that have played, the first 3 guys being Chase, Keontae, and Tony Fields. And then you figure out with the young freshmen or with the older guys with Mario and Ty, who's fighting for that 4th and 5th spot. And maybe they can go past Tony and Keontae. So we're going to have numbers. I think there's a lot of young talent. We'll see how it plays out. I think his skill set's a little bit more rangy and cover-oriented. Even though he's a taller guy, I just think his body type translates into coverage a little bit more. And or if not, I guess he could be a little free, which is a little bit more center field sometimes. Although they don't play middle field defense all the time, you know. But I think he's starting outside as we start. That's our play. My thing with our coaches, and Pete's making a couple. I've just told these guys now for about 3 weeks, you've got to do as good as you can and get them right early because it's wasted reps. You go from right guard to left guard. You go from field corner to boundary. You go from Sam to Will. It's still backer, but it's a different thought process. It's different vision. There's just a lot going on there. So I've put a little bit on our coaches to, you know, and you've got to adjust. Hey, we get an injury or so-and-so is going to look better. He's better than I thought. He's not as good as I thought. You got to always adjust. But I've asked these guys, I mean, you know, you need to, it'd be a lot better for our advantage, as useful as we are back there, to hit right with 2 deep in reps just from a developmental standpoint. You know, Demetric's played there a lot and has been pretty good and actually had one of our best summers. So he today will be the first one there with Timmy. Brandon Knight, for young guys, going to be in the mix. Even though we got a lot of guys back, been very impressed with Brandon and Simon Stepniak in particular. Feeney could always kick out there if we need to in a pinch, but we love him at guard. So, I think the initial crowd today will be Jason and Wes Martin on the left side. When we recognize guys for doing a great job last night, it was nice to hear our strength coach talk about Jake Reed is a fifth-year senior, Wes Rogers, fourth-year guy, Jacob Bailey, fourth-year guy, Darius Rayner, fifth-year guys. You guys had great summers. And some of those guys didn't get the elite award, but when our fourth and fifth-year guys. So you've got all those core in the middle. And that being said, we can always have Dimitri at guard, which we had. And if Timmy's playing high, we're the best five get on the field. And Dimitri, as an older guy, different than DBs, I think you can move a fourth-year guy spot around a little bit. But for Tyler Green and for John Crawford and Jamil Cook, you're going to be better if you can hit it right. And so Dimitri gives them some flexibility. Timmy's got some talent, but, you're talking ability versus dependability. And sometimes, a guy you can count on, maybe not as flashy. So that'll be an interesting competition there. We got some players there. Well, again, it's a couple things now. Some of those smaller guys who catch it and are dynamic, at the same time, lack, to me, the size to go through an arm tackle a little bit. Because sometimes as you come through, there's that little, what we call trash, that sometimes a guy of substance who's not as flashy, like Dutra was actually a tremendous punt returner in high school. Kick return, the game I was at, she had a kick return, punt return, jet sweep for a touchdown. So some of those bigger guys will get in the mix. Cam Patrick is a tremendous returner. I know Isaac James was awfully good at it coming to high school. Devontae Williams was awfully good at it coming to high school. But I don't know how many times you like freshmen catching kicks. And years ago, we had to do that. That's a critical play. Anytime there's an exchange of kick, that's one of the bigger plays of a game. And turnovers are haunting, and a special team turnovers really hard to flip around in the course of a game. So there's some young skill guys. Mitchell Page has always been our most savvy, most consistent catcher. I don't know how dynamic you are on the post end, but we were talking the other day, had made a visit to a pro camp, and I even said to coach, I said, the way we're kicking the ball and kicking out of end zone, you always, in my world, you got PAT field goal, but you really truly have 4 kick teams. The 2 cover teams punt kickoff, the 2 return teams punt return and kickoff return. You kind of go quarter. It's really more of a 60-40, 65-35, because your cover teams are more critical than returns, because how many times you really catch the punt? Fair catch the punt or get the kickoff. So even though they're kicking it, about half of them are non-returnable. So there's a point where it's a little bit more. I think we'll be okay at return. Don't know if we got anybody overly dynamic. We'll see. But the real thing in our kicking is we got decent kickers, and it's going to be the cover units, to me, is where we can impact ourselves. He's playing that bandit spot, which is kind of a halfway rush guy, halfway drop guy. And then we'll see in time how he plays and how he grows. He's over there with Niall and Zach Shaw, one of our better players.
What does Dominique Booth have to kind of do to separate himself in that pack of receivers? And what, as a second-year guy, what do you kind of want to
now again, he's had his best summer off season. At the same time, he's done nothing wrong. He's in a pretty competitive deal, and sometimes based on recruiting, some guys' stock maybe is higher than maybe what it is. He's been a solid guy. He's played as a true freshman. I think sometimes some expectations can get blown out of proportion, or you're expecting, a guy. I mean, sometimes they get those star ratings, but a guy watched one highlight or had a buddy, or a guy gets overrated or underrated. Not that he was. He's played as a true freshman, which most guys don't. He's in the mix, but I don't know if he's going to separate and be a guy. And I don't know. In our world, we've always played, like say, several tailbacks last year. We're going to play 8 or 9, 10. He's going to be in the 8 or 9. He'll be heavy in the 2 deep, and he's had a great summer. So, but I don't know if anybody separates to be in our world the way we play. I'm playing all. The other thing we're talking about slot with the tight end world. Don't be, you get, the tailbacks can kick out there. The tight ends with Fuchs, the tight ends with Casaro, because you got bigger bodies. So now Danny Friend looks awesome. He's healthy. So put Big Friend and put Cooper to tight end and get some matchups with those bigger bodies like Casaro and Fuchs. So there's some things you can do and just skin the cat and move forward. What I want to see, and I've hit with our coaches tremendously, is the body language and the demeanor of an attacking, it's been a disconnect since I've been here. It's no one's fault but mine, but I'm an aggressive attacking, let's go after it, and I don't see our defense play that way. So I think there's just a body language and a swag, you name it, whatever fancy buzzword you want. We can give them T-shirts and breakdowns and all that stuff through blue in the face, but there's a way you go on the field that says, I'm getting after you. And defense needs to be, the defenses that are good are coached in a way, are taught in a way, and play in a way that they stay aggressive. And, in my world, the game has evolved from offenses where the attack and the defense played bend but not break and keep everything in front and box everything in. Well, then the game moved to safeties coming downhill and everybody running at the line and Lawrence Taylor coming off the edge and defensive ends wrong arming and everything spilling and going sideways and defenses were attacking. The no huddle got the offenses back in attack mode. And now the really good defenses have figured out how to take that offense and flip it back. So he who is aggressive in this football world's got a better chance. And I just want to say, I don't care if they blitz, play a 3-man or 4-man front, and I don't care who's out there. I just want to see the energy and effort that matches, to me, what the way we want this program to run from the top. And that's been the challenge to our coaches, and we expect to see that.
Touchdown! Wow, what a play!